This last weekend, I was going through some of my older sketches and studies, and I found this little bird that I started a year ago and for some reason never finished. And so I was going to finish painting this one up a few days ago, but I kind of like the way it looks like this, and I feel like adding to it would take something away. And I'm not quite sure why I decided to quit painting this one or what was going on in my life or in my mind at the time, but for some reason I decided to stop and walk away from it. And not all the time, but sometimes simply walking away from something in life is the best thing to do because some things are better left unsaid and some things are better left unfinished. So let me show you the techniques that I used for this one. But before we get started, I want to share one of my favorite quotes about walking away from something, and it's in section 2 of one of the greatest books of all time in my opinion. That's The Sound and the Fury by Faulkner. It's right at the start here. It goes, "Because no battle is ever won," he said. "They're not even fought. The field only reveals to man his own folly and despair, and victory is an illusion of philosophers and fools." I probably read that first in my early years of college, and it's just always stuck with me. So let's get started on this one. It took me a while, but I finally found the recording of this one, and for this sketch, I was using a piece of Arch hot press paper with a layer or two of gesso on it, and that's going to help the erasing and the subtraction techniques that I'll be using. So first thing up is I transferred all my line drawings over to my piece of paper, and I did this with a graphite pencil, kept it very light so it doesn't show through in the painting. And I'm using an airbrush to paint this one. The airbrush is the Infinity 2024, and I'm using the color black by Schmincke Aerocolors. Like always, I'm going to start with the eye, and you can see on my painting on the left side of the screen that this eye has a very sharp edge along the outer contours. So I'm using a pretty inexpensive circle template here. I'm lining it up with my drawing and then spraying some paint down just along the bottom part of it for now. I can't remember my exact reduction of paint, so I do apologize for that, but I'm sure it was my standard reduction, which is usually about 20% of distilled water, so say about 8 parts paint to 2 parts of water. And you can see with that sharp edge painted in, I'm just going to fill in the rest of it freehand, not really concerned about the overspray at all. If a little bit gets around the outer parts of this eye, it's not going to affect anything on this one. Once I get that painted in, I want a sharp edge along the top. So I'm going to go back to that circle template and just spray a little bit of paint along the top part of it, leaving a gap below. And that gap is important because there's some reflected light along the top part of this eye. That's called a specular highlight, and I can remove some more paint up there using my electric eraser. I want to get the outer contour of this bird's skull painted in, but I don't want a sharp outline. So you're going to see what I'm doing here is using a freehand shield to line up with my drawing and spray some paint down. And that adds some value in there, gives some separation between the bird's head and the white background behind it without adding a sharp outline along the outer contour of it. There's this dark shadow above and to the left of the beak, and the edges are pretty soft. So what I'm going to do here is paint this in freehand with the airbrush very close to the surface. I painted the right side of it in wider by painting in the edges first, extending them out a little bit, and then as I move along to the left, I just thin out that line. From here, we're going to move along to the beak, and the first thing that I want here is a very sharp edge along the lower part of it. So you're going to see that I'm using a freehand shield to line up with my pencil drawing and then just spray a little bit of paint above it. And since my shield didn't fit the lower part of this beak perfectly, I sprayed a little bit, moved it around, and sprayed the rest to get one continuous edge in there. You can see what that shield did. Spraying over that gave me a very sharp edge at the bottom. So once I have that edge in, I could start filling in the rest freehand. So I started on the left side, painted in that little shadow there, and then I'll continue filling in the darkest value along the right side of the beak as it moves up to the very tip of it. And as I move along to the left side like I'm doing here, there's a slightly lighter value in here. So what I'm doing is spraying less paint with my airbrush in that area. That gives me a lighter value. And if you're new to these techniques, maybe you just stumbled across this video, because this is a monochromatic painting with an airbrush, meaning that it's only done in one color, I'm controlling my values by how much paint or how much pigment is on the surface. So if I want a darker value, I'm spraying more paint. If I want it lighter, I spray less and erase into that paint. My arm was blocking the shot there, but I lined up a part of my freehand shield with the top part of the beak, sprayed a bit of paint down to get some value in there. With that paint in there now, I can use my eraser like I'm doing here to remove some of it from the surface. So I'm removing some along the bottom to bring some light in there. Once I get a few parts of this erased, I'm going to go back to my airbrush and spray some paint along the top part of this shadow. More paint is going to give me a darker value. To the left and to the right of the eye, the value of the feathers in here get a little bit darker about halfway up this eye. They have a sharp edge that's kind of jagged, so I'm using a simple trick of using a ripped piece of paper, lining it up with that transition, and then lightly spraying some paint above it. You can see when I remove that piece of paper how lightly I sprayed that paint there. It's even kind of hard to see on video, but it's just enough to know where those darker values are going to start. So like always, I'm starting with lighter values first and slowly getting darker and darker. I want to extend out this shadow value to the left of the shadow that we painted in earlier. So I'm spraying it in very lightly to the left of that darker line. And then I'm going to lightly paint in a concentric circle around the outside of the eye that we painted in earlier, just following the contour that I painted in before. I'll extend the top part out a little bit so it looks like there's a bit of an eyelid up there. And then I'm going to lightly glaze some paint over the top left side of this eye, just darken up the values a bit more. I want to bring out some light along the right side of the skull, so I'm going to use a soft eraser here and lightly remove some paint from this surface. There's not much on there anyway, so it's going to be very easy to remove. And to sharpen up that thin, very bright highlight along the outside of the eye, I decided to use an X-Acto blade here and lightly scratch out some of the paint, just working my way from one part of it to another. Then I can also use that X-Acto blade within that specular highlight along the top part of the eye, just extend it out a little bit more along the bottom. I'm using a very light amount of pressure with this blade. You don't need much with it, especially on a piece of paper. You don't want to cut into it. But even with a light amount of pressure, I can remove all the paint in the areas that I'm scratching here, so I get to a pure white surface of that gessoed paper underneath. And as you can see here, I'm also using it within the beak, right in that highlight along the lower left-hand side of it, just extending it a bit further out to the left. And before I go any further, I noticed that there was a bit of overspray to the right of the beak within the background. So what I'm going to do is use an eraser here and just lightly clean it up and sharpen the edge as well. I'm going to paint some thin, broken, jagged lines to the left of the eye. And this is going to be where some of the darker feathers are going to be later on. So it's just a bit of texture now underneath. And then to extend the head over to the left, I'm going to use another part of a freehand shield, line it up, spray a bit of paint down. From here, I'm going to lightly glaze some paint along the outer top part of the eye just to help darken up the values in there. And then I'm going to spray in this thinner line that extends from the right side of the beak down to the left. And the way that I got this line to look darker is because I sprayed more paint. I just pulled a little bit farther back on that airbrush trigger to release more pigment. Like I mentioned in last week's video on airbrush trigger control, the way that I get thinner lines like this is about proximity, the airbrush being close to the surface. The closer the tip of the needle is to the surface that I'm painting, the thinner line I can get. From here, I'm going to start adding some of the textures in for the feathers, and what I'm going to do is follow the flow of the feathers, starting on one section at a time. So I'll start along the right side of the head, follow the flow here up and to the left, and paint in a few lines. And if I accidentally pull a little bit too far back on the trigger and spray some of these in too dark like I did here, I can make a very light pass over the top of it with the eraser to help lighten them up. To the left of the eye where we have some of these darker feather values in, the way that I'm doing this is by holding the airbrush very close to the surface and slightly pulling back on the trigger while I'm moving it. And I'm essentially just painting in little squiggles, little dots, and just texture here to slowly build up to the final painting. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but layer after layer, we're going to get darker and darker, and it's going to start to look like feathers later on. One way I can help add to this is use my eraser in between some of these areas to remove some paint, bring out some highlights. This gives the illusion of some depth, some dark and some light. So it makes it look like some areas are slightly raised up toward the light source and some areas are angled away from it. Just below the eye, we have two kind of like semicircle shapes of some darker feathers. So I'm going to paint these in the same way. Airbrush close to the surface and spray in some little dots, lines, and squiggles. I also did the same thing for the left side of the neck, painted in a bit of a wider line there, some texture to designate where the edge of the bird is going to be. And I know that I'm going through this pretty quickly, so let me slow the video back down to real time so I could show you how I use these techniques just below the beak. So we have this area in here that's just kind of blank right now, and what I'm doing is as I'm holding my airbrush close to the surface and slightly pulling back on the trigger, you can see that I'm kind of moving it around, just kind of jiggling it as I paint in these little lines. This motion that I'm doing of constantly slightly shaking the airbrush helps paint in these little random textures as I move the airbrush around different sections of the painting while slightly holding the trigger back. And of course, I'm always spraying air. I start with air and end with air. The only time I stop spraying air is when the trigger is fully forward and the paint flow stopped. Then once I get some of those darker textures in, I'm going to switch back over to the soft eraser like I'm doing here and remove some light in some areas that need to be brighter. Again, this is just going to make it look like some light is hitting some areas within these shadows, giving the illusion of some depth. As I start moving down toward the neck of the bird, I'm going to start by painting in some of these thin lines, making sure that they're kind of broken up and a bit jagged. I don't want these looking too uniform or like a pattern is starting to build up, so I'm just always slightly jiggling my airbrush as I paint these in, just help add to that randomness. This video is sped up, but I'm taking my time painting these in, and then I'm going to use my eraser to get some separation between these lines. And once I get a few of these base lines painted in, I'm going to lightly glaze some paint over these two areas to the left and to the right to help darken the value within here. For the left side of the bird, you're going to see me using that freehand shield again, lining it up with the edge, spraying some paint to the right. That just helps to give some separation between the bird and the background so we know where we're going. And what I'm doing from here is just working around with my eraser, just lightening up some areas that seem a little bit too dark and getting some separation in between these lines that I painted earlier. And even though it's a sketch, you can see how multiple layers of this simple texture that I'm painting in starts to give a convincing look to the final painting. And again, I glazed another light layer of paint over this top section where we have these darker feathers above the eye. Then I continue that same technique of painting in those little lines and squiggles to continue building up these textures. From here, we're going to start working our way down to the wing, and the first thing that I want to get in is this shape here on my painting on the left side of the screen. There's a sharper edge, a transition between a lighter value at the bottom to a darker value on top, so I'm going to use that ripped piece of paper trick, line that up with that transition point, spray some paint up. And just a reminder, to spray in a light value like that, it's really about trigger control, just slightly pulling back on the trigger to spray a very small amount of paint. Now next up, I'm going to paint in some parallel lines following the flow of these feathers as I work my way up this wing. Now this technique is kind of similar to hatching and drawing. If you use charcoal or graphite, it's a very common technique. And I'm using this technique for two things. One of them is shading, getting a darker value in here, and the second is texture. It's going to start looking like some feathers when we erase into this later on. And because this is a sketch, I'm not overly concerned about trying to get these in perfect to the reference photo that I'm following. I'm definitely having a little bit of fun with it and trying to loosen up. But one thing that I am trying to pay attention to is to follow the flow of these feathers. It's kind of similar to the way that I paint hair or draw in hair. Each lock or strand of hair is going to have a direction that it's flowing. So I just want to follow that motion with my airbrush to paint in these darker values. The back left, there's a darker shadow value, so I just loosely blocked that in, and then I painted that thin line just above it that curves around. And then also to sharpen up the shadow on the lower part of this edge, I'm going to use another ripped piece of paper, line that up with that area, and spray a little bit of paint above it. This way, within this shadow area, I get a very subtle gradient where it's darker at the bottom with that very sharp edge from the ripped piece of paper and gets a little bit lighter as it moves up. I'm going to extend a few of these shadow lines up a little bit more, and then from here I'm going to switch over to an X-Acto blade and start scratching out some lines in between these shadows. Just like painting in those darker hatching lines with the airbrush, as I'm using the X-Acto blade here, I'm also trying to follow the flow of the feathers within this section. And as I mentioned earlier, because this one is more of a quicker sketch, I don't mind being a little bit looser and kind of messy with this. So I'll continue building up layers of that texture, and along the right side here, there's some brighter feathers that stick out from the right to the left. So the way that I'm painting these in is just by painting around them. I'm painting the background values in first. A lot of times in a painting, I like to simplify things to shapes, and these feathers here almost look like triangle shapes, so I painted in the edges first and then filled in some of the background to the left. Now to help define these a little bit more, I'm going to use an X-Acto blade on top of that paint. I'm going to glaze some within the background, and then I'm going to switch over to this blade and start scratching right into this paint. I start on the right side where it's brightest, where we have no paint, and I just scratch right into those shadow values, right on top of them. You'll see when I scratch in some thin lines on top, it looks like very simple hair or feathers. And of course, I can also use my eraser like I'm doing now to bring out some more negative space above this area. There's a lot of negative space in this painting. Those are going to look like areas of light. Now that I have all those textures down, I'm going to apply a very light glaze of this black paint over the top part of this wing. I'm just focusing this paint along the lower part of it within the shadow area and spraying less paint as I move up, so we get a very subtle gradient here from dark to mid-tone to light. The next part up is this little section of the wing, and you can see it has a few bands of darker values within it, so I'm using a ripped piece of paper, just lining these up parallel to one another and spraying some paint over them. You can see with that ripped piece of paper, as I spray over it, some of that textured or deckled edge gets transferred over to the panel, so it makes these lines look a little bit more jagged and a bit more natural. Now for the shadow value below this, I'm going to continue using a ripped piece of paper. This one's kind of ripped into a circular shape, and I'm just spraying little sections of it to get this curve painted in, so we get a shadow just below this area. For this next little wing shape just below the area that we painted in, it has a sharper edge. It's a bit more defined, so instead of using a ripped piece of paper, I'm going to use a freehand shield that has a curve on it. And then for those thin, darker bands within the center, you can see that I just painted them in freehand and kept them a little bit softer. Now from here, I'm going to add a few more lines to make it look like some feathers along the lower part of the neck and the lower part of the head. And also I'm going to spray more paint into this gradient that we painted in earlier, just darken up the shadow values and also darken up the midtones a bit more. For the right side of this little bird within his chest, there's a few shadow values in here, just a few of the darker feathers. So to keep this as simple as possible, I'm painting in some very thin lines here, again being a little messy with it, allowing some of these to overlap, make it look a little bit more natural. And I'm making sure to leave a ton of negative space in here. This way the painted areas look like darker areas of the feathers or like shadows, and the brighter areas, the areas of negative space, look like highlights. For these larger and sharper feathers over to the left, I'm going to paint these in just like I showed earlier. I paint the background first, I paint the outline, and then I fill in some paint within the back. And then I switch right over to the X-Acto blade and scratch out some paint on top, scratching some of the paint right over those shadow values to the left. So you can see that when I'm painting a sketch like this, there's a ton of freehand work. I'm just applying paint with that airbrush, and then for the sharper edges and the highlights, I use some sort of tool to remove that paint. This little group of feathers at the bottom looks too smooth. I feel like it needs a bit of texture. So I'm going to glaze a very light amount of paint over the top so I have something to erase into. And then I'm going to use a simple trick of using an electric eraser and just lightly hold this over the surface, slightly touching it to that piece of paper. As I move this around from the left to the right within this section, you can see I can remove some paint and build up some pretty subtle texture. Then once that's down, I want to darken up a few of these shadow values, and the way I'm doing that is just spraying some more paint right over the top of them, and a few parts here you'll see me using a shield to mask off the areas behind it. I also noticed that a few areas around the eye were still a bit too light at this point, so I'm also glazing some paint over the top of those as well to help darken them. And when I spray that paint over the top like I'm doing here, I'm not going to lose any of that texture that I added in earlier. Everything is just going to get a little bit darker. And then also I'm going to use my eraser to remove some paint here and get some separation in between the shadows and highlights on this smaller section of the wing. So essentially just refining different parts of this sketch right now. Now from here, we're going to move along to the final part of this wing. And as you can see in my painting on the left side of the screen, we have some dark horizontal lines here along this section. And I'm going to show you a very simple and effective way to paint these in. So the first thing that I want to do here is use a shield and mask off the background. Just spray some paint over to the right. This way we get some separation between the left side of the bird and the background behind it. And to paint in these darker bands, you can see here that I'm using a freehand shield that has a very subtle curve to it. This one is called the bird. I line it up with my drawing where these darker lines are and spray some paint right over the top. That gives me the darker lines, but they're a little bit messy because one side was not masked off, so I use an eraser to clean up the other side of that edge. And I know that the video is sped up, so it looks like I'm going a lot faster than I am, but I'm taking my time with this eraser and just removing paint in some areas where I want some light in between these darker bands. For the next part of this wing, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to first paint the edges in first, so we have some separation here between this wing and the bird just below it. And I'm going to use two types of freehand shields here. One is the simplest one possible. That's just a piece of paper. I'm spraying right over the straight edge of it to get a straight line in. You can see that I spray in one line, move that shield up a little bit, spray in another one. And at the top they're a bit curved, so I'm going to use that freehand shield that has a curve on it. And then once those lines are in, I go right back over to the eraser and get some separation in between those darker values. Now at this point I want to darken them and sharpen them up a little bit more, so instead of using paint, I'm just going to use a graphite pencil. I'm using a 2B here and drawing in these lines right on top of the paint. I really love the combination of graphite pencils and black paint with an airbrush. I've been using them for years and they just go together very well. Then I'll use a harder graphite pencil. This is a 2H along the top to draw in a few of these feather lines around the head. And from here, I'm going to darken up the cast shadow below the wing, so masking it off with a freehand shield and spraying some paint below it. I want this to be a pretty dark value along the top, so I'm spraying a bit more paint up there. Another area I need to darken up is this section right here with these darker feathers, so I'm going to spray some of this black paint right over the top of everything, into the shadow and into the highlights. This way it darkens up the shadow, but it also darkens up the highlights, so I'm using an eraser to remove paint from those highlight sections to help brighten them up again. This way I don't have to mask everything off. For the final part, before I decided to call it quits on this one, I painted in a few parts of the legs and the feet. And you can see for the legs here that I used a straight edge sprayed over the left and the right side to get some darker values along the left and the right side of each one of these legs. And then for the feet and the claws, I used two different types of shields to mask off the edges. I'm using a curved shield for the claws on the back left side, and then a ripped piece of paper for some of the textures within the feet. In some parts of this, I want to be really dark, almost pure black, so all I'm doing is spraying more paint with my airbrush. For the lower part of this foot, I'm going to spray in this edge freehand, and then also I'm going to spray in some paint up along the leg and then the lower left-hand side of the body of the bird, just to give a shadow in there and make it look like this part of the bird is rounding away from the light. And then for the final part, I'm going to use that freehand shield, line it up with the right side of the bird's body, and just lightly spray some paint over to the left. Again, just create a little shadow in there. And that's it. That's my unfinished painting of this little bird, and that's the way that it's going to stay. Like I mentioned at the start of this video, some things in life are probably better left unfinished. So I want to thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I also want to say thank you so much to the very generous support of the current channel members that are scrolling up on the left side of the screen right now. I wish you all way more than success on your own paintings and your artwork, and I'll see you back here next week.